I know that we're all excited and cannot wait till next week, Saturday, when the Bills play the Houston Texans in the playoffs. But we still have to get through the post game from yesterday's game. Guys, welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this post game edition of Billievers Talk, where we talk about the game yesterday between the Buffalo Bills and the New York, New Jersey Jets. I look forward to talking about this one. I look forward to talking about the good and the bad from this game. Really hard to break down considering the fact that the Buffalo Bills were playing a lot of backups, not a lot of their key players obviously in this game. Still a tight one, right? 13-6. The Bills fall to 10-6 on the regular season. A game off from what my preseason prediction of 11 wins was, but hey, we're going to take the playoff berth either way because as we all know, this game did not matter for the Buffalo Bills. As far as seeding goes in the AFC playoffs, I would have liked to see us win for a couple of reasons, but that didn't happen. Again, I think it's smarter that we make sure our team is healthy, have a couple of scares that we're going to talk about in this episode in this game, including Levi Wallace, Cody Ford, Ty Nsekhe, all of them a little scary what happened to them on the field. But again, we'll talk about the good, we'll talk about the positive from this game. Again, no Monday Night Football tonight. All the games were yesterday, so I got on here just a little bit early. So again, guys, thank you for joining me on Billievers Talk. I'm going to wait a little bit just so other people can get in here. Again, we started early, no Monday Night Football, so I know a lot of people waiting to get their notifications to let them know that Billievers Talk is live with the post-game coverage for this game. And guys, as you're hopping in here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button as we talk Buffalo Bills football. Again, I know we're all excited. We're in the playoffs, baby, and believe me, there's going to be a lot of content right here on this channel and across the YouTube platform. If you're talking about our buddies over at Hashtag Sports, Mario and Paul, on to Houston, says Dennis Chapman, absolutely. You're talking about Hashtag Sports, talking about Blindside Sports. I saw you just posted a video, and I'm sure there's going to be more content getting ready for that game on Saturday. Don Mafia, Dan Mitchell, he'll be posting some content. Cover One, Greg and the guys over there, they'll be doing their thing. And of course, we all know that Rico and Buffalo Fanatics are going to all get us ready for the game Saturday between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Again, I know we're excited. Second time in 3 years, but still feels like it's been a little bit since the Bills have been this good. And we're contenders, guys. It's not like 2 years ago where we're only going to score 3 points in the playoff game. I think this time we have a real chance to beat a Houston Texans team that, is hot and cold at times and definitely did not look good. I know they weren't playing most of their starters on Sunday either, but losing to the Tennessee Titans. Kenneth Osborne comes in. How about Duke? Great game. Dennis comes in and says, love Duke. Guys, we'll talk about Duke Williams. I promise we're going to talk about Duke Williams. But as you all know, I like to rewatch this game. I like to talk about the bad and good from each Buffalo Bills game because I believe, again, that there are good and bad things to take out of every single game. So we're going to talk about the bad, and then we're going to talk about the good. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Duke Williams. Hey, King Cam, how you doing? Glad you can make it in here for what's going to be a fun week, right? Overall, a fun week. Guys, I promise you I'm going to keep posting this week. And like I said, Thursday, as we normally do, I'll be doing my pregame for the game Saturday against the Houston Texans. Not sure who's going to be giving you that game as far as play-by-play reaction, whether it be Paul Maher from Hashtag Sports or myself. But I promise we'll get you covered unless we're all going to be at the game. I'm not sure what's all going on. A lot of crazy stuff. Jalen comes in. How you doing? On to the playoffs. Short week. Yeah, and last time we played on Saturday, it didn't turn out so well, losing to the New England Patriots. So we'll see what happens in this week. But we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We're ready to go to Houston. Going to be warm in that dome. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So let's talk about the Jets game first as we get ready to move on to the playoffs and the Houston Texans. First of all, for anyone who's hearing the Jets fans talking their crap about how they finished 6-2 at the second half of the season, that's true. And even in finishing 5-2, you have to give them a little credit for that. But who did you beat in this game? Honestly, who did you beat? You beat a second-rate Bills team. Barely, right? Barely. 13-6. Not something you should necessarily be bragging about if you're the New York, New Jersey Jets. I just don't see this as a bright spot for the Jets, but they do win the game. They finished 7-9 on the season, so congratulations to them for that. But the Bills have higher hopes, right? The Bills have higher expectations, and we're talking 1-0 each week, and that's no more evident than now, right? Right now in the playoffs, that needs to happen. So again, guys, thank you for joining me on Billievers Talk. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like this video, let other people know that we are here. Geek Squad comes in, says Jets stink. They do. They do. But hey, they're happy with the small victories. And guys, we were there at one point too, okay? So let's not act like we weren't there, winning the final week of the season, saying, oh, that's momentum. Remember last year, we whooped Miami the last week of the season. We were talking about momentum going into the next season. And look what happened. Anything can happen in the NFL. I see a lot of Bills content going in talking about how next year's schedule looks tough already. Guys, we have no idea what to expect between this year and next year. There's a lot of offseason in between those things. So there's no way to determine what's going to happen and how tough our schedule is or how easy our schedule will wind up being. Injuries happen. We saw the quarterback carousel of injuries this year, including Drew Brees, including Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with QB injuries that changed the landscape of the NFL this season. So we can't just sit here and think that, oh, next year is going to be tough by looking at the schedule now. That's not possible, as others keep coming in here. I know this game didn't matter. I was not impressed with Barkley at all, says King Cam. Daniel comes in. They beat our second string by a TD. If our starters played, they would have been crushed. Hayes Costin comes in. How you think we best the Texans? I will talk about that throughout the week, and Thursday I'll be giving you my pregame, so make sure you tune in throughout the week. I mean, obviously there's ways to beat the Texans. Both of us finished 10-6. I think there are plenty of ways for us to beat the Texans. Remember, we only lost to the Texans last year by, I think, a field goal. Or no, Nathan Peterman picked 6 in overtime. Or no, maybe it was late in the fourth quarter. But either way, we didn't lose by all that much. So to think about that and know that this year's team for the Buffalo Bills is that much better, maybe that's hope for the playoffs. We'll see what happens. Daniel comes in. Darnold has not improved over last year, in my opinion. Well, remember, Darnold didn't get to play a whole season this year either with the mono, and I think he had an injury as well. We'll see what happens next year with the Jets, and that's the next time we have to worry about them is next season. We don't have to worry about them at all as the Bills keep rolling and the Jets go home. So we don't have to worry about the Jets. Let's talk about this post game a little bit, and then we can move on. Get our minds focused on the Houston Texans. Because, guys, to be honest with you, I know this game didn't matter, but to go into the playoffs on a 2-game losing streak, to only have a 4-4 record at home, that's something that needs to improve next season. I know that we're road warriors. I know we finished 6-2 on the road this season. I know we're looking good, and we're not worried. We're not intimidated about going on the road. But imagine if we finished 6-2 at home, which was very doable, right? 6-2 at home, 6-2 on the road, finished 12-4. What was the Patriots' record? 12-4. 12-4 won this division. We could have been right there when push came to shove as far as winning the division. If only we would have had a winning record at home. So that's something that needs to be worked on in the offseason. 4-4 at home is just not good enough. Bottom line, Thomas comes in talking about his blow-up doll heading to Houston. Maybe he can float there, blow her up, and then let the air out, and then she can drag you wherever you want to go. Maybe you'll wind up in Houston for that playoff game. The predicts a win. Maybe if she's there, we'll have that good luck on our side and we'll get a win. Last home game of the decade, said King Kim. Yeah, it was the last home game of the season, last home game of the decade. By the way, guys, Happy New Year to everyone out there, to you and yours. Again, we'll still be providing you with videos throughout the week, but if this is the last time you get on here before you celebrate the New Year's tomorrow into Wednesday, have a Happy New Year. Wishing you guys the best this coming year for all of you. Kenneth Osborne, I seen who we played next season, and honestly, I like our chances on taking the division next season. Again, you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen between now and next season. You don't know who the Bills are going to draft. You don't know how other teams are going to draft. You don't know if there's going to be injuries in training camp. Everything changes, right? Patrick Mahomes goes down in training camp. Everything changes. Everything's up in the air. I don't want to see it happen. I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a great player. I look forward to seeing him this season in the AFC Championship game. But, I mean, those things happen. These things can happen at any time. That changes a outlook of a whole season. Hey, Austin, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk. So, in these post-game editions, I normally like to talk about the bad first. Get that out of the way, and then we can end these videos on a good note. So, let's talk about the bad. Obviously, the Jets beat the Buffalo Bills 13-6. Bills go to 10-6 on the season. Remember who all was inactive for this game. You're talking about Cole Beasley, John Brown, Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox, Trey White, Shaq Lawson, Andre Roberts. All inactive. Guys, we only had three active wide receivers for this game. One that you all love. You still got the Reed jersey. No, I gave that away. Scott Blakely actually won that. He's been on these shows quite a bit, especially his live streams. So congratulations to Scott. We gave that away during the Saturday game against the New England Patriots. So that was when we gave that away. What do you think our chances are, Joe? Ask Andrew. I think our chances are great. I think our chances are great. Barkley was not sharp at all. Well, again, you're talking about a guy who hasn't played since I believe week 7, something like that, right? And I really didn't like that snap. He lost a lot of snaps, so that center to quarterback exchange, obviously something they need to work on. If you remember week 1 of the NFL season, Mitch Morse and Josh Allen were not on the same page when it came to the exchange, losing a fumble to the Jets week 1. So obviously that's something that needs to be worked on for all quarterbacks and centers for the Buffalo Bills. So that's something that gets worked on a little bit this offseason. Not much of a running game, says Daniel as well. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Actually, I have some good things to say about our running game as well. But let's talk about the bad in this game. And the first bad I want to talk about is third down efficiency, right? Again, this is something that's bound bad way too often for the Buffalo Bills. You're talking about the Bills only being 28% on third downs. I don't care who you have in the game, whether it's backup starters, it doesn't matter to me. I want to see us convert third downs, give our defense time to rest, because some of the players on this defense still stepped up, still had a great game, and it would have been even better if the offense would have helped them out. Now, it's hard to convert third downs when you're averaging 9.2 yards to go on third downs like the Buffalo Bills did yesterday. So on average, on third downs, they needed 9.2 yards to get a first down. You're not going to convert a lot of first downs that way. You need to keep it to third and shorts every single step of the way. And that includes getting your run game going, getting some short passes. Let's talk about a guy like Matt Barkley, who is probably a little rusty, right? Give him some easy completions. Like, let's get started. But you can't just blame Matt Barkley. When Josh Allen was in there, Josh Allen played 2 drives, right? 2 3-and-outs. 2 3-and-outs. You talk about losing momentum heading into the playoffs, but how much momentum did he lose knowing that he wasn't playing with a full deck of cards, right? He wasn't playing with his full assessment of talent on the first string offense. So part of me wonders exactly what Josh Allen was doing in there in the first place, and we will talk about that later. But it wasn't like it was just Matt Barkley. Josh Allen was not having success either. You're talking about 28% on third downs, again, averaging 9.2 yards to go on third downs. That's just not going to get the job done. You're talking about playing a Houston Texans team in the playoffs that might be getting J.J. Watt back. They're going to be excited on defense. They're going to be ready to go. We need to get 3, 4, 5 yards on first, second down, make them third and shorts, third and manageables, so that way they have to guard against the run and the pass. We can be a little more tricky, be a little more, our offense can run more wide range of plays, if you will, when we have those third and shorts. Thomas comes in and says, Matt Barkley stinks. Again, you're talking about a guy who's been sitting and he didn't. I mean, if you want to talk about stinks, and I talked about this yesterday, let's talk about Ryan Bates, one of my other negatives from this game. Ryan Bates, normally inactive, and yesterday we found out why. Was beat almost every single play on the line of scrimmage. Matt Barkley wasn't getting time back there, guys. Matt Barkley just was not getting time. If you ask me, Bates at left tackle just wasn't working, and that's why you see him on the inactive list so often. In fact, I doubt we keep Brian Bates next season just because of how bad he looked yesterday. So I know a lot of people want to talk about how bad Matt Barkley looked. I actually blame Bates for a lot of that. Bates needs to make sure he holds his man, or I don't want to say holds, but he keeps his man down. I know that the guy who was lining up against him was having a great past 3-4 games. I forget who it was, but having a great past 3-4 games. But you need to be prepared for that. This is the NFL, and we know that sometimes one of the toughest positions to get ready for is on that offensive line. If you're not used to seeing it in full speed, then stuff like what happened yesterday is going to happen. And unfortunately, it did with Ryan Bates, and our offense struggled because of that, including Matt Barkley. So again, one of my negatives is third down efficiency. One of my other negatives is going to be Ryan Bates. Talking about my third negative, and I just brought this up briefly, why did Josh Allen even play? I know you want to get Josh Allen reps, but if you're going to get Josh Allen reps, let's give him the guys he's used to playing with, right? And I'm not upset that John Brown, Cole Beasley, Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox, I'm not upset that they sat those guys. I'm really not. But if you're going to sit those guys, why are you not also sitting Josh Allen? Josh Allen needs reps, fine, but he needs reps with his guys. You didn't even play Mitch Morse, so he didn't even have the same center to quarterback exchange he normally has. So nothing of those first 2 drives were the same for Josh Allen. Josh Allen went 3 for 5 for 5 yards, I believe it was. But one thing I do want to bring up is those two incompletions were to the same guy, a guy that many of you already brought up, and that's Duke Williams. So no catches, 0 for 2 when targeting Duke Williams in this game. So we can talk about that, and we probably will at a later time, but that's something you guys got to remember when talking about Duke Williams. Sure, Duke caught 6 passes for over 100 yards, looked really good with Matt Barkley as the quarterback. Matt Barkley's not going to be the quarterback next week, guys. That's going to be Josh Allen. So what we wanted to see was Josh Allen find Duke Williams early, find Duke Williams often, and create that camaraderie that you want between your young quarterback and your young wide receivers. So that's going to be interesting. Guys, I know the comments are coming in fast. I appreciate that. If there's something you want me to read, go ahead, hit that super chat button. Helps out the channel. I'll try to get to some of your chats now. Bates is more of an interior lineman. Anyway, says Andrew Jones, absolutely. Tom Balbuzowski comes in and says, what do I think about Dable getting an interview with Cleveland for their head coaching vacancy? Listen, I don't think Dable is in trouble. I don't think the Bills are in trouble of losing Brian Dable. There are a lot of great coaching candidates out there. I mean, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. Dable could blow teams away with his interview, but I just am not too concerned at this point. My only hope is nothing is announced when it comes to Brian Dable until after the playoffs. How many times have we seen teams interview for a head coach, he get named prior to the playoff game, and then it's almost like the coach mailed it in because he knows he's getting a head coaching position not too far down the line. In fact, I believe the way the NFL rulebook works is that the Buffalo Bills have to give a team permission to interview someone as long as they are in the playoffs, right? The Bills can say, hey, wait till we're out of the playoffs, and I hope that's what they do because we don't need that extra distraction. We need to be able to see Brian Dable with the team getting ready for the Houston Texans. The playoffs are, everything matters when we talk about the playoffs. You talk about practice matters this much more. Every play matters this much more. Coordinators being there every single moment matters that much more. This is the playoffs now. We need all hands on deck. Whatever happens during the offseason happens during the offseason. That's fine. But we need to make sure that we are prepared. Everyone is mentally preparing for the Houston Texans. Till after the Texas game, says Tom. Yeah, they can't interview him until I think we're out of the playoffs. I hope the Bills keep Dable, says Daniel. Josh needs continuity at offensive coordinator. And we've seen that with other quarterbacks in the past. Alex Smith was my example early in the season, who had, 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 or 6 years. It just doesn't work. So would love to keep that continuity. If we can't keep Dable, then you imagine we just bring up Ken Dorsey from quarterback coach to the offensive coordinator position, which really would help with the continuity factor for Josh Allen. So I'm not too concerned about it, but will be interesting to see. Andrew Jones comes in and says Duke Williams' strength is his size, not his separation. Still, that second pass from Josh Allen to Duke Williams landed in Duke Williams' hands. He couldn't catch it. So I'm just pointing that out. Josh Allen put it in a place where only Duke Williams could catch it, and he didn't catch it. So yeah, I know everyone was excited to see him catch 6 balls for 100 yards, but he didn't do any of that damage while Josh Allen was in the game. So my next negative has been, again, one of those negatives that happened most of the season. We've been talking about this guy most of the season, not in a good way, and that's going to be our punter, Corey Bajorges. Guys, Corey Bajorges, our punter. We haven't fixed this situation all season, so I doubt we're going to fix it now. We haven't addressed it all season, so I doubt we're going to address it now. I find it funny that we brought in kickers to challenge Stephen Hauschka when Stephen Hauschka was struggling, who, by the way, went 2 for 2 yesterday, didn't look too bad at all. But we don't bring in punters to try to make Corey Bajorges either step up his game or to move Corey to the side and bring in, I've heard Colton Schmidt, I've heard some other names out there, to bring those guys in. I think this coaching staff must really love a left-footed punter, because yesterday, guys, didn't do well at all. In 6 punts, he averaged 35.8 yards per punt, and that includes a 51-yard punt. He had 1 punt travel 51 yards. So if you remove that one from the equation, he had 5 punts averaging 32.8 yards, just not going to get it done. Now, he had 2 punts inside of 20, and next week we play in a dome. So weather conditions will not matter. There's going to be no excuses. You need to be able to turn the field position over when asked to do so. This Houston defense can be pretty good as well. So there are going to be times we go 3 and out. We need Corey Bajorges to step up and have some good punts, because he did not have too many of them yesterday. At 51-yarder, his best. but that brings his average to 35.8 for 6 punts. That's just not going to get the job done. Anthony says, "What's up, Joe?" Not much. Just talking post game of the game yesterday. What I'm trying to say is the playoffs are different, and I'm sure. So it's Anthony John, quarterback to wide receiver, small, tall, fast, slow, whoever it is, the plays are going to be the same plays. We basically have been practicing all season with a new offensive line. We got to 10-6, possibly. Jack Patrick, Bahor Kez. Okay, you haven't been doing your homework. I'm trying, Jack. Again, I have a lot of homework to do, man. A lot of homework to keep you guys up to date with Buffalo Bills news. Besides, he's gonna be gone next season, so do I really have to? Do I really have to get his name right? Next year we'll get like I don't know, like a Smith, and that'll be easy for me, right? I mean, that's all I have to worry about. The next year, Kyrie Punter just be like a Ken Smith. That would be great. Make it easy for me. I would really appreciate it. Dennis Chapman comes in and says Beasley and Brown have had bad drops as well. Duke's last game with Josh was 4 of 4, or that might have been his first. That was his first game with Josh. His last game with Josh was that Eagles game, 2 targets, 1 catch in that one. So he actually, with Josh Allen as his quarterback now for the season, 5, 6, 4, 7. So he's 6 for 9 when Josh Allen's throwing the ball as far as receptions go. So you can look at that and say that's fine. But again, a big drop yesterday and went 0 for 2 with Josh Allen overall. Thanks, King Cam, for getting to that. I appreciate it. Ty Hemler comes in. Go Ravens. Ty coming in, talking some Ravens smack. Ravens get the bye week. Good luck to them going into the postseason. Listen, I mean, if they play the Bills, obviously I'm cheering for the Bills. But if it's not the Patriots, go whoever, right? I mean, obviously our first cheer here is for the Buffalo Bills, but right behind that is whoever's playing the Patriots. Remember, guys, if the Patriots make the Super Bowl this year, that's going to be 4 years in a row, tying the Buffalo Bills for most consecutive Super Bowls in a row, and we don't want to see that for our Buffalo Bills. We currently hold that record, something that we want to keep. Miami does a great job yesterday making sure the New England Patriots have to play wild card weekend. They get the Tennessee Titans, and lots of people saying the Titans match up well against New England. Might be interesting to watch, guys. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, and if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Gonna have you covered all this week for the playoff game between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans, and then of course the following week, hopefully we keep going in the division round, and even in the offseason, I got you covered right here. So hit that subscribe button. After the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Andrew Jones, don't feed the trolls. It's fine, guys. We're going to troll them right back. It's fine. The bloody Pats. As long as the Pats lose and the Bills keep winning, it couldn't be any better for the Buffalo Bills. My next negative is going to be the turnover battle. Guys, we lose turnover battle 3-1. Again, I talked about that center to quarterback exchange yesterday, especially when Matt Barkley came in the game. I know that conditions were not ideal. I know it was pretty sloppy, but so was the exchange between center to quarterback. That got pretty sloppy at times too, and it did not help that the offensive line kept getting hurt. There was players that kept getting hurt. We had to bring Deion Dawkins in for a little bit when Cody Ford went down. Definitely some scary moments for the Buffalo Bills in that game. And we're going to talk about those next. We're going to talk about the injuries. We're talking about the good, the bad. Let's talk about the ugly a little bit. Cheaters. Yeah, it's funny. Nothing ever came of that Cincinnati Bengals mess, right? We still haven't heard anything about that whole Cincinnati Bengals mess. Maybe the NFL's just trying to sweep that under the rug, but hopefully people don't let them forget. I believe Greg Roman lost to the Ravens, went with the 49ers. Crazy if he goes and beats the 49ers with the Ravens, says Dennis Chapman, calling for a 49ers-Ravens rematch in the Super Bowl. As long as the power stays on, I think we'll be all right. If anyone remembers the last time the Ravens and 49ers played in the Super Bowl, the generator outside the stadium blew right after halftime. Really helped the 49ers feel like they had a chance to come back in that one. All right, so let's talk about the injuries from yesterday, guys. Oliver played a lot. There were a lot of players that had to play a lot because you can only sit so many guys when you were forced to dress 47. We already have enough guys on the inactive roster that you can sit. Just not a lot going on. Excuse me, guys. So let's talk about some of these injuries. 4 key injuries yesterday that happened for the Buffalo Bills. Again, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. First and foremost, Levi Wallace. We saw Levi Wallace get his second interception of the season yesterday. However, when he caught the ball, it looked like his foot got caught in the turf. Obviously, we were panicking a little bit more when we first saw the injury. You're talking about a non-contact injury. Daniel, get into the update right now for you. But you're talking about a non-contact injury where it looked like his knee almost buckled underneath him, and so you always hate to see that. You fear ACL, MCL, done for the season type situation. Well, according to Twitter, that's not the case. According to what I saw on Twitter, Levi Wallace is listed as day-to-day with a sprained ankle. Now, it's a high ankle sprain, and if you know anything about high ankle sprains, you know that they can be tough to come back from in just 1 week, depending on the grade of sprain that it is, right? You know, they have different grades for sprains. So he's listed as day-to-day. Definitely better than we first initially thought. Daniel, it was an ankle. So it's better than we first initially thought. He's listed as day-to-day. Hopefully he'll be ready to go come the Houston Texans. If not, we do have some good corners. Now, remember yesterday we had to rely on Isaiah McKenzie for part of the game at the cornerback position. Like, that's how thin we were at corner. But we just don't want to see people get injured. It's funny to me, and that's really telling. And that's something you guys should take as a telling sign that Coach McDermott would rather he thought Isaiah McKenzie in that situation is more expendable than, let's say, a Kevin Johnson after losing Daryl Johnson in the game, after losing Teron Johnson in the game. Teron Johnson did say after the game that he'll be ready to go come wild card weekend. The Chiefs haven't played the Bills defense yet. No, they have not, and we'll see the Chiefs come the AFC Championship game if we make it that far. So Teron Johnson did say after the game that he'll be ready to go come wild card weekend. Now, that could just be a player talking down an injury, but it sounds like he's all right. He'll be good to go. I'm sure he'll probably get some limited time in practice this week, but we'll see him come Saturday against the Houston Texans. Same thing with Cody Ford. Cody Ford came out of the game, and remember, that's when we brought in Deion Dawkins. Definitely a scary moment seeing Deion Dawkins in that game, worrying about what's going to happen. If anything happened to Deion Dawkins, you knew we'd be in trouble. Nothing did, luckily. But Cody Ford did say that he would be good to go come Saturday, which is really good because if you watched the game yesterday, you saw Ty Nsekhe went down again. Now, today, Coach McDermott did say they hurt the same ankle that he's been out with for the past 4 or 5 weeks. So that's concerning. That's the same ankle, but he didn't go into the extent of the injury. He doesn't know. We don't know if this is just a lingering issue or if this is something that he can get ready to go for Saturday against Houston Texans. Again, I like seeing Cody Ford in there. I love seeing the alternate between him and Ty Nsekhe. Just means we have fresh guys on that offensive line. But Cody Ford has held his own. So as long as Cody Ford is healthy, I feel like we are pretty good. Again, Teron Johnson saying he's going to be ready to go. So now we just look at Levi Wallace, who's listed as day-to-day with a sprained ankle. And we look at Ty Nsekhe, who injured that same ankle that's been hurt that's kept him out the past 4 or 5 weeks. We look at those two guys and say, will you be ready to go come this Saturday? Let's talk more. Let me get to more of your comments. Again, I appreciate it. Andrew Jones comes in here. Considering the injuries on the O-line, what do you think about maybe the Bills using 12-type personnel packages? I'm not too concerned about the offensive line injuries. We just talked about them. Cody Ford should be good to go come Saturday. I'm pretty sure Mitch Morse was only sat out for precautionary measures, not due to the injury he suffered 2 weeks ago. I think we'll be all right. I think the packages that we have in there should be the ones that we've set all season. I don't expect to see too many new wrinkles in our offense as far as sets go, but we're going to see what happens. Tom comes in and says, Chiefs versus Packers, Super Bowl repeat of Super Bowl 100th anniversary. It's fixed. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Tom's camp, the New England Patriots will lose against the Tennessee Titans, which will lead the way to a home game against the Titans. Wouldn't that be a great AFC Championship game? Get them back for what happened in 1999. I don't even want to say what it was, but you guys know. Ty Nsekhe has to go. Dude has been injured all season. Well, remember, first half of the season, Cody Ford was not looking good at that tackle position. Ty Nsekhe held down that tackle position for a long time in the beginning of the season. So let's not forget about that. I know he's been hurt the second half of the season for a lot of it, past 4 or 5 weeks or so, but the injury that he sustained was more of a freak incident, not something that's going to continue to linger, hopefully, as seasons go on. But you do know Ty Nsekhe is an older NFL player. He doesn't have a lot of NFL experience, but he is an older NFL player. I think he sits at 34 years old, something like that. So you do wonder if these injuries are going to take a toll on his body like they would an older offensive lineman. Not sure. I don't want to speak or speculate anything, of course, but you do have to wonder about those. So we talked about the bad, we talked about the injuries. Now let's talk about the good of this game for our Buffalo Bills. Again, really hard to get into this game too much considering how many of the starters did sit. But we do want to talk about one guy in particular on that defensive side of the ball. Again, remember that defense holding the Jets to 13 points without Tre'Davious White, without Tremaine Edmonds for most of the game, without Matt Milano for most of the game. This defense still held their own, and that was led by Trent Murphy. Welcome back, King Cam. Trent Murphy had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for a loss in this game. And not only did he have 2 tackles for a loss, not only did he have the 2 sacks on Sam Darnold, he was pressuring Sam Darnold a lot of the day. I feel like Trent Murphy took a step up in this game, and that's going to be huge moving forward. I think that this game really helps Trent Murphy as far as momentum goes. He knows that he can beat, because remember, the Jets offensive line, they're not the best, but they're definitely better than they were last season. And so you know that you go into this game getting those 2 sacks. You know that you have confidence going up against the Houston Texans that you can get it done against them. And then you're talking about having Ed Oliver back in the game. I know Ed Oliver played a lot yesterday, but again, you can only sit so many guys. You're talking about Jordan Phillips being back. Jordan Phillips missed a key tackle yesterday against Le'Veon Bell, had him in the backfield. Le'Veon Bell able to stiff arm him, bring him to the ground, and Le'Veon Bell able to get a first down on that carry. But want to see better things out of Jordan Phillips. And you'll have Jerry Hughes on the other side, or even Shaq Daddy Lawson. So plenty of things to look forward to if you are Trent Murphy. Murphy saw a lot more snaps. Yes, he did. He absolutely did, because we sat Shaq Lawson. We sat Jerry Hughes for most of the second half in that game. A lot of things going on that made Trent Murphy see a lot more snaps, but he was effective, right? And that's what matters, effective. Oliver had 98% snaps. Such a beast he is, and he's a young guy, so you know he can take that type of workload. Guys, I felt like the jet sweep, we were talking about the run game earlier, not much going on in the run game. I thought McKenzie did a good job with the jet sweeps. Again, 2 rushes for 30 yards, able to get the corner both times against a tough rush defense in the New York, New Jersey Jets. Was able to get the corner, able to spread that defense out a little bit. Frank Gore, you're talking about the run game. Frank Gore averaged 4.3 yards per carry. That's good enough for first down every single time. He only had 6 rushes in the game. Only played in the first half. 6 rushes, 26 yards. Only played in that first half, but looked good while he played. So you're talking about the run game, and I know the stats as far as the numbers don't look great, but you look at Isaiah McKenzie coming out of the jet sweep formation. He did a good job, had 2 rushes for 30 yards, averaging 15 yards per rush. You can't beat that. And then you talk about Frank Gore averaging 4.3 yards per rush. Again, doing pretty good, breaking records 4 yards at a time. Frank Gore in the game yesterday tied Emmitt Smith for most games played by a running back in the regular season. So if he comes back next season, he will break that record. Now he gets to play against the Houston Texans. Hopefully can make a mark. I heard some people talking good about TJ Yeldon. I was not all that impressed with TJ Yeldon in this game. I wasn't unimpressed either, but he did nothing to kind of like wow me or to prove to me that he deserved a spot on the 47-man roster come playoff time. Still think he's going to be one of those inactive guys, and if someone goes down like a Frank Gore, he'll be able to step in nicely, and I won't worry about it, but he did not do anything. Angry Buffalo Sports fan comes in and says, playoffs, absolutely, let's go. Thomas Camp, 5% what happening. Anthony John comes in. Buffalo beats Houston. Buffalo beats Baltimore. Buffalo hosts Tennessee in the AFC Championship game. Yeah, probably about 5% that happens. Buffalo beats Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl. That's the way it is. Would love to see that. Victor comes in and says we don't use Yeldon properly. Yeldon is a receiving back, right? So yesterday's game, I don't know how many packages we have to use Yeldon the way he is supposed to be used. I understand that, Victor. I think he's a complimentary back at best, though. I think him and Singletary and Frank Gore do a fine job. We don't use Yeldon at all. Again, he's mostly inactive. He's been mostly inactive all season. I think he was only active for 2 games this year for the Buffalo Bills, maybe 3. So again, don't use him. Well, yeah, because Devin Singletary had that hamstring injury, so I think it was actually 4 games that he was activated for. So we don't use him much at all when we don't need to. But it's good to see that he's still ready to go. Good to see that he's still ready to go. He didn't do anything to unimpress me, but he just didn't do anything to impress me either. Maybe we had more plays that would be to his liking if Josh Allen was in the game, if we had our first string offense in there. And again, some things that you probably don't want to show the Houston Texans on film if you don't have to. So again, talk about this run game. Frank Gore, I thought, did a good job averaging 4.3 yards per carry, and then McKenzie did a good job on those jet sweeps, getting the corner, getting the edge, and getting around this tough Jets run defense. I thought I did a pretty good job. So let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about, what everyone's already talked about, and that is Duke Williams. Every time I got the ball, you heard the home crowd go, Duke, right? Everyone was excited to see Duke Williams. Definitely has the support of Bills Mafia. You're talking about 6 catches, 108 yards, some big plays in there that really helped out this team when we needed them the most. So if you're looking at Duke Williams and saying, man, look at that size, great for jump balls. Funny thing, when we were in the red zone, did not use him for jump balls all too often. I thought we'd do that more to see what we got out of Duke Williams. I'm not sure if I am as hyped as everyone else is about Duke Williams. I've been that way all season. If you want to look back through this channel, you know that draft AJ Dillon says Victor Ubilas. Might have pronounced that wrong. Jack Patrick, you'll let me know. But anyway, I haven't looked at the draft too much yet. Again, focusing more on the playoffs coming up this week. But I am excited to check out draft coverage as soon as the Buffalo Bills win that Super Bowl lift up that Lombardi trophy. I'll be getting right into draft coverage, guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and like this video. Hit the thumbs up button, guys, so as we get ready to talk about Duke Williams. Guys, we have to play Duke next Saturday. I'm thinking about doing a video this week pertaining to Duke Williams. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. Again, when I did my pregame, I talked about Duke Williams, and I talked about him potentially starting in this game, and he did. Remember, the Buffalo Bills only carried 3 wide receivers on their 47-man roster getting ready for this game, so we knew Duke Williams was going to see a lot of time, and he did, playing 100% of the offensive snaps. But, again, 0-for-2 when Josh Allen was in the game. I would have loved to see him and Josh Allen connect early. Early to think draft season's not over. It's going to be football in January. Absolutely, guys. Be excited about that. Welcome, Snarl, to the live stream. I always appreciate you being in here. Guys, the Buffalo Bills are playing January football. Not something we've been able to say too often. Whether you're a Ravens fan coming in here trolling, if you're a fan of another team, you got to know that the Bills are in the playoffs, and the Bills are a team that need to be taken seriously. You talk about losing by 7 to the Ravens. Only 1 score. You talk about losing by 7 to the Patriots. Again, only 1 score. We're in these 1-score games. Not saying we should win them all, but if you talk about playoffs, we're going to be in these games. Josh Allen, 4th quarter, he's our guy. He's been consistently good all season. You talk about 5 game-winning or come-from-behind wins drives this season in the 4th quarter for Josh Allen. I'd like our chances in close games in the playoffs, including this Saturday against the Houston Texans. But talking about Duke Williams, 6 catches on 12 targets, so at 6'4", 108. Again, some big plays mixed in there. I wish Josh and Duke would have connected on that long ball. Yeah, again, long ball Josh puts in his hands, and he's unable to hold on to it. Unable to hold on to it, and those are the type of things that you want to see done properly if you are a Duke Williams fan. Guys, remember Duke Williams, one of those catches, even though he caught the ball, was on a 3rd and 6. He runs a 5-yard out. He runs a 5-yard out, gets tackled right away, and then we don't get the first down, right? You talk about he had an open first down potentially in this game, and he drops the ball, looking upfield too early on a 3rd down. He almost got us a 15-yard penalty if he would have been able to hold on to the ball and bounce back up too, trying to spike the ball onto the turf. So those are the little things that matter in talking about whether you're going to be on a team or not. Yes, he made some big plays, but he made some big drops and made some big mistakes in this game as well, and we can't look past that going in playoff. Listen, Cole Beasley on 3rd and 6 is going to go 6 yards. John Brown, same thing. Dawson Knox, hopefully the same thing. He's young though, so not sure about that. But that's what you need to be in the wide receiver position. You need a guy that on 3rd and 6 knows where the sticks are and is going to get there before he finishes his out route and gets you that first down. Duke does not have speed to catch the long ball. He did a 42-yard catch yesterday, and to me, 42 yards is long enough. That's all we need. But still, guys, I think that there's plenty of improvement for Duke Williams to have. And again, we'll have a video about him coming up this week. Good in this game. You're talking about 6 catches, 108 yards. We'll take that every single week. If you can guarantee me he gets me 6 and 100 next week against the Houston Texans, I'm going to take it. I promise you, I'm going to take that. But that's no guarantee. Again, then you're talking about Duke Williams as your third, right? Because you're talking about having John Brown and then Cole Beasley and then Duke Williams. You know, in this game, Duke Williams was the #1 wide receiver. So obviously a different amount of attention from the corners, from the safeties, from the Jets in general than he will get if John Brown and Cole Beasley are in this game. Definitely something we need to think about. Let me get to some of the comments. King Cam comes in. Do I think we need to use Tommy Sweeney more or no? I thought Tommy Sweeney had a decent game yesterday. I would put Tommy Sweeney in that TJ Yeldon camp, except for the fact Tommy Sweeney is a rookie, so I wouldn't be upset if we held on to him for another season or two. But he did enough yesterday to not unimpress me, but not enough to impress me. Got called for a pass interference penalty that I did not think was pass interference. I thought that was a clean catch, a clean first down. I don't like the fact that there was an offensive pass interference. I feel like his defender just tripped on a wet turf in that situation, but it was called, so you have to take a look at it. But Tommy Sweeney, again, I feel like can show more, can continue to improve, and then be a tight end 2, maybe a tight end 3 on this roster in the future. But again, didn't do enough. Hey Ronald, how you doing? Welcome to Billievers Talk. Glad you can make it. Again, started at around 9 o'clock. Just got in here a little bit early. No football. Sweeney over Lee Smith all day. In fact, I found it funny when Sweeney got called for pass interference. Everyone thought it was Lee Smith just because Lee Smith was there. Lee Smith was in the vicinity, so we just thought it was Lee Smith. But yeah, I think, but you do have to consider the run game too. Lee Smith is still huge when it comes to the run game, huge when it comes to run blocking. We cannot undersell that. The only bad thing is, and Hashtag Sports talked about this a lot. Guys, remember, Believers Talk teamed up all season with Hashtag Sports to give you live play-by-play and reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game. Go to Hashtag Sports for continuing Buffalo Bills content. Mario and Paul do a great job. Again, we'll let you know who's going to be covering the playoff games, or if we will just be, like, I might be in Houston. I'm not sure yet where I'm going to be for the game. But if I'm not there, guys, I'll make sure you guys are covered for the game, live play-by-play, and reaction right here. And we can join the conversation. I could talk Bills Mafia just like we're doing right now. I was surprised we didn't draft a corner this year. We might be seeing something Pianowitz here soon. And again, thanks for joining me on the stream, guys. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button if you haven't already. But yeah, I just don't know about Tommy Sweeney in the run game. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, guys, also remember that Beware the Stampede and Believers Talk teamed up again this season as well. Partnership with Jeremy from Beware the Stampede going great. Jeremy has a podcast out. Make sure you catch that. Some articles, a new article coming out shortly talking about what it means to us as Bills fans to make the playoffs. So I look forward to that. I hope you look forward to that as well over at BewareTheStampede.com. Make sure you go there for all your Buffalo Bills news. But again, guys, I did want to go on here give you a post game of a game that, again, was really hard to judge because the Bills didn't play their starters. I don't like the fact that we're going into playoffs losing 2 in a row. I really don't. I thought maybe Matt Barkley could spark this team. Because remember last year, Matt Barkley came in after only being with the team for like 8 days, and he burned the Jets for 41 points. Obviously, a different Jets team. Jets finished 7-9 on the season, finished 6-2 the second half of the season. So congratulations to them. If there was a second half of the year award, you guys would come close to winning it. I think you were second in the second half of the season, only behind those 8-0 Baltimore Ravens, who did a great job finishing out the season, even with their second string, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. And then the big game yesterday, the Miami Dolphins beating the New England Patriots. Thank you, Miami. Really appreciated that. Really look forward to seeing the New England Patriots having to play potentially 3 games for that Super Bowl. But most people, myself included, do not see the New England Patriots coming out of the AFC. Anthony comes in. Joe, do I believe we can win the Super Bowl? Not this season. not this season. I will come out with my playoff predictions. I think we beat Houston. I even think we might have a chance against Baltimore. But you look at that Kansas City team, really tough. And even if we beat Kansas City, which I'm not saying is impossible, that NFC is strong. Even if, unless the Eagles make it, that NFC, unless we play maybe a Minnesota team, come out 6 seed, talk about San Fran, Seattle, New Orleans, Green Bay. I think all four of those teams have a good shot of making the Super Bowl, and I think all four of those teams have a good shot of winning the Super Bowl, no matter who the AFC representative is. Fitzmagic came into play yesterday. We appreciate that. The Angry Buffalo sports fan comes in. It's really great to see that, and I hope that really pays off. Again, remember, if the Patriots make it to the Super Bowl, they tie the Bills for the most consecutive Super Bowl appearances. So there are plenty of reasons to cheer against the Patriots this season, as if there aren't already. That's just one more to add to the fire. But guys, the Buffalo Bills lose this game to the Jets 13-6. They fall to 10-6 on the season. But again, we had nothing to gain as far as standings go. Finished 10-6 on the season, still that number 5 seed. Tennessee wins, so they get the 6th seed. They will be playing the New England Patriots the late game Saturday. We will be playing the Houston Texans at 4:30 Saturday. So make sure you're watching that. I'm sure all of you are excited to see that game between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Again, between hashtag sports and Billievers Talk. Make sure we have you covered for that game. Snarl comes in. What's the line? Houston by. Is J.J. Watt playing? I don't follow the rest of the NFL anymore. Let me get you to the early line for this game. I'm sure by the time I pulled up, someone will have already said it, but we'll talk about that. J.J. Watt is expected to play, so it's going to be interesting to see how that affects things, because that Texans crowd will be hyped for that game because the addition of J.J. Watt. Currently, the Texans are 3-point favorites at home. And if you know anything about Vegas, when you're at home, they give you 3 points. That's just how it works. So, they really see this game as an even game. I do too. Home field might tilt this in the favor of the Houston Texans, but I think this is a pretty even matchup. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I hope you guys are ready to watch it. J.J. Watt is playing, and then I just went over the line, Houston by 3, so we'll see what happens. The Bills played well considering we played the Jets starters. The Bills defense played well, and we always expect our defense to play well. The offense, again, could still use some improvement. That's why I'm kind of surprised to see Dable getting head coaching opportunities. I feel like that's more of a narrative thing than actually watching the Bills play this season. Still struggling on offense. I love what Josh Allen's done as far as improvement goes. And again, guys, we're ahead of schedule. Vegas has winning 6 games this year. We did a flip on them. We won 10, went 10-6 instead of 6-10. Here we are in the playoffs, getting ready to play the Houston Texans. It's coming up this Saturday, so make sure you guys are ready, guys. Again, we'll have you covered throughout the week. Tomorrow, I plan on putting out 2 videos. Make sure you check that out. One on Duke Williams, whether he did enough or not to make it onto the wild card playoff roster. And then my normal Tuesday video, instead of the AFC playoff picture, I'll just give you the whole NFL playoff picture heading into the playoffs. And then Wednesday, I have my picks. I'm not sure yet if I'll do it week by week or if I'll give you my picks for the whole playoffs and then do week by week as well. Maybe that's what I'll do. But we'll have that up for you on Wednesday. Thursday, I am live again to give you my pregame for Wild Card Weekend, pre-gaming the game between the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills. So make sure, again, if you haven't subscribed to Billievers Talk, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, lets you know when we post new videos. And then Friday, I'll try to come to you with an injury report. Again, I might be heading to Houston Friday, so I might not be on here, but if I'm not, you'll know why. I look forward to that. That might even affect the Thursday stream, not sure yet. But I'll let you guys know my schedule on Twitter, so make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'll let you guys know my schedule on here as well. But we'll have you up to date on the Buffalo Bills right here. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Happy New Year. Thomas Camp comes in. Happy New Year, guys. If you're not back here by the new year, I look forward to seeing you all in 2020. I look forward to seeing you all soon. I look forward to seeing you all as the Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs. Have fun. Enjoy this week. Remember, we smothered Lamar Jackson. Let's smother Deshaun Watson first. Then we'll talk about what we can do with Lamar Jackson. Because remember, we beat Houston. Well, more than likely, we'll play the Baltimore Ravens unless the Titans pull off that upset. Then we play the Chiefs. So we'll see what happens. I look forward to seeing it all with you guys. So again, thank you for joining me on this post-game edition of Billievers Talk. The Bills lose to the Jets, but we're moving on. We got the Houston Texans. Wild Card Weekend. We're going to have a good time. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.